Hey everybody, welcome back to Emerald City Hockey. Now this week we had some pretty big NHL news, and that is that jersey ads will be coming to the NHL for the 2022-2023 season. Now, we're going to talk about the larger implications of all this on the podcast on Monday. However, it leaves a really big Seattle Kraken question, and that is, of course, who is going to be the inaugural jersey ads sponsor for the Seattle Kraken, not next season, but the following season. So, RJ, you've had some time to think this over, and I heard you've come up with something.
Yes. So the Kraken will have a number of options as far as their jersey sponsor. I think some better than others, and it'll definitely be interesting to see which they go with. So, Dylan, I prepared a few mock ups of potential jersey sponsors for the Kraken, and I want to know what you think. Does it look good? How much of a chance do you think they have to be the sponsor? Kind of how do you feel about each one? All right.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. So here's the first one. And I figured I'd start with the most obvious potential sponsor. Amazon has the arena naming rights deal. They're a huge company. They've got plenty of money to spare for this ad and, of course, connections all over Seattle. Dylan, what do you think of Amazon?
You know what? It doesn't actually look that bad to me. I think the fact that it's not like a large like logo with a lot of like iconography and all that kind of stuff going on. The fact that it's just a word, really, and then the smile I think is nice because it keeps the footprint small overall, and the fact that it's basically just white also helps. It's not like a clashing color to anything on the jersey entirely. Um, that being said, it's just like, do we need more Amazon in our lives? Like, do we need to be reminded of them every time we watch the Seattle Kraken? I don't know. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't hate this one. I have a feeling there's probably going to be some stuff coming up that is a little worse than this. But I think overall this works. I mean, comparing it to the only other league so far that has jersey sponsors in the NBA, I think these are the ones that work best in the NBA, are the ones that are just kind of like the name of the company. Like I think of Wish for the Lakers. Like it's really easy. You have the Nike logo over on the one side because they make the jerseys, and then you just have just it just says Wish basically on the other arm strap. So I feel like they're very non-intrusive in that way, and I think this kind of follows that by just being the name.
So you did hit on it with a question there. Do we need more Amazon in our lives? It's kind of ever present. So the next one I have for you is kind of a variation on the Amazon one. And because of that question, I think lots of people have. This might be what Amazon is most likely to do if they get the naming rights. So they've already named the arena Climate Pledge Arena. They could just slap Climate Pledge on the jersey. Since it's constantly front and center, I would think the team too might rather have Climate Pledge, which kind of fits with their stated values, than Amazon, which of course is just kind of a major corporation. So what do you think of the Climate Pledge one?
Um, I like this one. I know how I was saying earlier, I liked the white of Amazon because it didn't clash with anything. I like the green here. Maybe that's just the fact that we're Emerald City Hockey. We've obviously embraced that motif. Um, but I again, I think it feels less intrusive than I was like fearful of. Right? I think that's what we're all kind of afraid of with these ads coming to the jerseys, is that they're really going to take away from things. But I think if you kind of, when you first look at this one, like, yes, you notice it, but it's not, you're still focusing on the team crest, I feel like, first and foremost, when you like first glance at this image. I also like to do the kind of like unfocused eye effect thing, and then see where your eye goes, and it goes to the crest on this one, so I appreciate that. That being said, do we need like the arena to be named the same thing that like the jerseys are then also named after? Like that feels so excessive. I'm trying to think of things like, you don't really see the naming rights of like the arena then super present on like the playing surface or things like that. I feel like most of the time.
Although
I
I will say the helmet ads that they
mhm.
started with last season, a lot of times it was the arena sponsor. So that's where I could see this coming into play.
It was. I don't know how much of that was just because like they like threw that together in like a couple weeks. They were like, we
That
just
is true.
need an influx of cash. The quickest place to go is like, okay, we'll cut you a deal because you already sponsor the arena, kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I this is, of the two we've seen so far, I think this is my favorite so far.
Right then. So next is the Kraken's other major corporate sponsor, Starbucks, who already have a deal to sponsor the Kraken Community Iceplex, and they have their logo, big front and center right on the front of it. So we talked about the green on Climate Pledge, kind of fitting a little better and looking good. How about the green from Starbucks?
I don't like this one. This is definitely my least favorite so far, and I think it's because it is like a logo. It's not just like words. I feel like the green gets lost because of the white of the actual lady, and I don't know. It just this one is the first one that really feels wrong. You know what I mean? Uh, and I will say you've done a really good job with these mock-ups. The first two, they looked pretty real. This is the first one that feels like you just slapped a Starbucks logo on top of it, which makes me feel like it shouldn't be the one then, right? I think the other one's coming across a little more natural. Uh, Helped. Yeah, I'm just not feeling this one. I don't like it. I think the fact that it's round instead of moving kind of laterally across doesn't help things either. It draws your eye more because it's just like this dot on there. I don't know. What do you think of this one?
I mean, it's interesting you pointed out that it doesn't really look as natural, and I got that feeling when I was making it that I almost had to move it around a little bit. Like, wait, no, that doesn't look right. So yeah, something just didn't fit there, and I think maybe that's a sign of something greater too. I mean, we know the Starbucks deal with the Community
Hmm.
Iceplex was not popular with a lot of Seattle fans. We got a couple comments on a poll that we ran, anyone but Starbucks.
Yeah.
So I think we ought to just kind of skip this one.
That being said, I will say if Starbucks was to be it, we do know that the jersey ad sponsors don't have to go on the chest; they can go on the shoulders. I feel like this would be one that, if it's gonna be on there, I would much rather have it on the shoulder. I think it would work better there. Lots of teams have a
Circular
circular
shoulder
logo.
logo.
Yeah, so I think that would be the place for this if they did go that direction.
Agreed. So I like to refer to this next sponsor as the People's Choice. We ran a poll on our Twitter asking who should be the Kraken's jersey sponsor, and Dix DriveIn was the clear winner. Taking a look at it, the orange kind of clashes a little bit, but it's fun, and of course, Dix is quintessentially Seattle. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I agree. The orange is kind of a little out of place, but it goes back to what I was saying earlier. This one feels more natural, and it does. It feels very Seattle, and it feels like an inside Seattle kind of thing, which I do think is important. If we're going to have jersey sponsors, I feel like they should be representative of the city that the team plays in, and I feel like Dick's would do that. Yes, Amazon would do that because everyone associates Seattle with Amazon, but I feel like this would be something that the hometown fans would really connect with, and I think they would wear on their jersey when they buy it. Because I'm assuming these ads are going to go on the jerseys we buy as fans too. I don't know. They might not.
Because I did look and at the NBA shop, and the NBA jerseys do not have the ads
Yeah.
on them. And from what I've seen, the consumer jerseys will not.
Okay, then. But I could see this being one where they actually did want that on the jersey. So, um,
Hey, I mean, Dix has sold their own jerseys already, and they've been pretty popular. So
yeah, and those things are fantastic looking. So, yeah, I don't mind this one at all. I think this one would be pretty cool, and I think this is the one I'm personally pulling for.
yep. Now, one thing worth mentioning is the ads. Of course, they're going to cost a lot of money. We're probably looking at, just from the early numbers I've seen out there, $6 to $7 million an ad. I'm sure that can vary widely by team, but either way, you're going to need a lot of money in the marketing budget. So as we now go to some of these smaller companies that might not have the same budget as Amazon or Starbucks, it's worth thinking about that as well.
Hmm.
Uh, so the next sponsor we have already has a sponsorship deal in place with the Kraken. I don't know that they could afford this one. That said, of all the logos so far, this one might look the coolest. How about Kraken Rum, Dylan?
It definitely does look the coolest. I think the white and black maybe I don't know. The black kind of draws my eye away from the crest a little bit, but it definitely looks the coolest. It's certainly on brand with everything, right? Yeah, it's just a really cool looking logo. That said, literally minutes before we started recording this video, we found out that alcohol sponsors are not going to be allowed on the jerseys,
Yep.
unfortunately. So this one's a little, you know, just wishful thinking on our part. But I still think it looks really cool. And again, I don't think this would be something that would have upset a lot of people.
No, and you've got the name of the team right there. It's a natural sponsor, and I think that's why they already, are the official run of the Kraken, and it just makes sense. But as you mentioned, we learned right before recording, alcohol sponsors will not be allowed. So, last but certainly not least, I have a surprise for you, Dylan. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at that.
Oh, wow.
Is that not clearly the best one?
I mean, it is clearly the best one, as we were just talking about, right? The Kraken Run one works because you have the Kraken there, right? This would have the Kraken there. It doesn't steal color-wise away from anything because it's basically the same color but legally distinct. And I do it brings in the green that I was talking about earlier with the Emerald City. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this looks really, really good. My only question is, where are we going to find the money to do it?
Do we not have enough money in the budget, Dylan? Can you crunch the numbers, please?
I will try, but I still think this one might be a little bit of a stretch. Maybe if everyone goes out and buys some of our awesome Emerald City Hockey sweatshirts. If
Yep, I think
if all of you watching go out and buy like 300 of those right now, we'll do this. We'll make this happen.
Yep, if we sell about, let's say, 2 million of these, I think is what it would take. We can get the ad space, we could put the logo on it, or better yet, we could just leave it blank.
Yeah.
We could buy the ad space and leave it blank.
You know what? If you guys don't want jersey sponsors, the ad on the jersey, we will happily purchase the space and then not put anything on it if everyone decides to band together and make that happen. We would definitely do
How we
that.
get it done.
That is. So I guess that's our pitch. Don't feel pressured to go buying 300 hoodies. It's okay. All right, so those are our thoughts, our early thoughts on who should sponsor the Kraken's jersey starting in 2022, 2023. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Let us know what you think of RJ's mock-ups. Let us know if we forgot a brand that you think would be great to be on the Kraken's jerseys. Let us know down below in the comments. As always, like this video if you can. It really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.